The HOA president called the cops the moment my wife started loading her car, and I just stood there in the driveway watching Rachel leave while this woman told officers I was running illegal money schemes like some washed-up crook finally getting exposed. 6 months of fake violations, threats, harassment, and now this circus. She thought she had broken us completely, thought my marriage was done, and my house would be hers next. But what Linda didn't know was who my wife really was, and that secret would turn her little neighborhood power trip into a federal nightmare. You want to hear about karma hitting hard? This is it. 3 weeks before that day, I lost my job as a financial analyst. I couldn't bring myself to tell Rachel. Instead, I kept putting on a tie every morning, driving off like I had somewhere important to be, then sitting in the parking lot, scrolling through rejection emails. Bills piled up, savings drained, and I told myself I was protecting her from stress, but all I was really doing was digging a deeper hole. And then Linda, our HOA president, somehow found out. She showed up at my door with a smile that felt like a knife and an offer to buy my house for way under market. Cash, quick close, no questions, she said. I brushed her off, but deep down I knew she had information no neighbor should have. Rachel started noticing things too, the deposits, the late-night phone calls, me hiding papers like some crook running side hustles. The truth was ugly, but simple. I was pawning family jewelry, selling anything I could, taking cash advances just to keep the lights on. When she confronted me with those sharp eyes of hers, asking where the money came from, I froze. I lied. She saw right through me. Either you're working with Linda or someone's setting you up. Which is it, Michael? She asked. That's when she packed her bags, calm as a soldier, and said she was staying with her sister until I decided to tell her the truth. Watching her walk out the door nearly broke me, but it got worse. 2 hours later, Linda called the police. She told them I was violent, that Rachel had fled for her safety, that I was laundering money. I sat there as Detective Harris looked at me like I was already guilty. And then my brother Tom showed up, acting all concerned, asking questions, listening too carefully. At the time, I thought he was just nosy. Turns out, he was something much worse. That night, Rachel called me. Her voice was steady, professional almost. Michael, I pulled records today. Linda's been buying up houses from families in crisis one after another. Divorce, medical bills, job loss. She targets them, pressures them, and takes their homes. That's when I realized Rachel's vague government consulting job wasn't what I thought. She was trained, experienced, dangerous in ways Linda couldn't imagine. 2 days later came the break-in. My phone pinged with a security alert. I checked the footage and my heart stopped. Someone in a hoodie walked straight through my house like they belonged there, heading right for the desk, where I kept financial documents, photographing everything, leaving without a trace. No broken locks, no forced entry. They had a key, and the only people who knew where we hid the spare were family. Rachel came back the next morning, not as my angry wife, but like an investigator taking over a case. She spread folders across the table and said, "We're going to catch whoever is leaking information. Each suspect gets a different story, and we see which one comes back to Linda." It was like watching a spy movie, except it was my life on the line. So I told Tom that Rachel had inherited $50,000. To the nosy neighbor, I mentioned we were moving to Seattle for a new job. Each lie was a trap. 2 days later, Linda called me with that smug tone. "Michael, I hear Rachel inherited some money. Congratulations. Let's talk new opportunities." My blood went cold. Tom. My own brother had sold me out. When we confronted him, Rachel didn't yell. She slid a folder across the table, documents, payment records, timelines. "We know you've been feeding Linda information for months," she said flatly. His face crumpled. He admitted it started as small talk, but then Linda offered cash, and he was drowning in debt. He took her money, he betrayed me, and he betrayed every family in this neighborhood she had targeted. As if things weren't already spinning, federal agents arrived with Detective Harris. They told us Linda's operation wasn't just predatory, it was organized crime. Wire fraud, conspiracy, exploitation across state lines. Tom had a choice: cooperate or go down with her. He agreed to wear a wire. The next day he called Linda, told her we were ready to sell. She praised him, promised a bonus, bragged about how many families she had destroyed. Every word was recorded. That afternoon, Linda walked into my living room like she owned it. She dropped a contract on the table and said, "I'm glad you've accepted reality." Rachel had been quiet the whole time. Then she stood, reached into her bag and pulled out credentials I had never seen before. "Linda, I don't have federal problems. I oversee them. Federal Magistrate Judge Rachel Grant." The room froze. Linda's face drained of color. She tried to leave, but agents stepped in and cuffed her right there in my home. Her trial was quick. 10 years in federal prison, $185,000 restitution, lifetime ban from real estate or HOA management. Families got their homes back. Neighbors finally felt safe again. Tom served 18 months, did community service, and now he's trying to make amends. Do I forgive him? I don't know. Family betrayal cuts deep, deeper than anything Linda ever did. Our neighborhood changed completely. Elections replaced Linda's board with honest residents. Property values soared, kids play outside without fear of bogus fines, and Rachel started a legal clinic to help families fight HOA abuse. I finally came clean to her about my job loss, my shame, the pawn slips, and empty bank accounts. She forgave me. We rebuilt. And sometimes when I walk through Cedar Ridge and see neighbors smiling, I think about how our worst nightmare turned into a shield for others. Linda thought she was preying on a weak family. What she didn't know was that she had walked straight into the home of a federal judge. So let me ask you, what's worse, being betrayed by family or being exploited by a stranger? Should Tom ever be forgiven, or does blood betrayal never heal? And do you think 10 years is enough for someone who destroyed lives for profit? Share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me if you've ever seen corruption in your own neighborhood. And don't forget to subscribe, because the next story might just hit closer to home than you think.